Right, now I've marked the splices. As you can see, there's two lines. On this one, they're 7 inches apart. Okay, that's the top of the splice to the bottom of the splice. Usually about 18 inches long, these splices. Yeah, see, that's the way to get them leaving. Now, if you look at this ash, very close up with the ash, this is a lovely amount of grain, the type of grain that I like for ash cues. It's not too thick and it's not not enough grain. As at the end, I've marked the end as a central bit, and I'll plane down to the sides of that circle, and this will give us an even splice all the way around. Now, as you can see, I've put two sides on the cue. Now if you look here, this is where I mark, that's a guideline, and then as long as I get them arrows, like that side, that side, that side, and they're all in line, that means the tops of the splices be right. Okay, and this is the side on view, the splices. Now what I've got to do is I've got to plane this bit down to the shaft here, okay, on this side. Now this is when you'll pull the bottom of the splices in line, and you do this by hand slowly. You just take your time. What I usually do is I'll plane that down flat, and I'll get one side, and then I mark where the ends of the splices are, and then I take that to the other side and see which is close, and then I slowly just graduate in. There's no reason to touch the top of this splice anymore. It's just here where I'll be splicing, maybe cutting a bit out. Now I'm planing the sides back. Notice I'm using a very long plane. This is I think I've mentioned before, this is a number 7, but this gives you a lovely flat edge. Now I'll just take this down gradually. And I'll plane right down to the edge of there, so that is all perfectly flat. Okay. Do both sides the same, and then we'll put the splices on. That's it.
So stop.
Right, now I'm going to sharpen the blade on my plane. If you look at the blade, on one side's got a chamfer. You put oil on the oil stone, you put the blade on and you tip it to there, right? And what I usually do is just go round and round and round till the oil's all over the blade, all over the oil stone, and then you do figure of 8 like that. This gets the edge back on your plane. Now when you're using hardwoods like ebony and that, you've got to do this regular, or you'll get more tearing in the timber. So it's best to sharpen this every so often when you're doing it. This is the easiest way to sharpen it. Take your time, there's no point in rushing. You can ask something to do that just to get the whole lot. But the main way is figure of 8. Or some people do it this way. I've never done it this way, it's always figure of 8 with me. Right, that's it.
What button does?
As you can see, I've cut them in and I've pulled the edges in so they're in line. Okay, so as you can see, I've put a piece of a mortar across where they join to that side. Okay, I don't know if you can see from the side here, but that's the shape. Now what I've done with this one is, here I've scooped it a bit. And when you scoop it, it means you can get more of the ebony on it, which makes it heavier. That's one with a lot. To start with, I would always suggest doing it perfectly flat to get used to it. But this is just scooping the wood out a bit, so it's not a perfect flat. It scoops, and that means you get more weight in with the ebony. And the next job is putting the weight into this cue, which I'll be putting about here. And this is the perfect balance for this cue, because I've actually tested the cue beforehand, so I know where I need to put the weight. This is a bit of stripy ebony. Now this is 42 by 42 mil. What I do is I cut it down 15 mil to a couple of mil, and cut a line across, cut it out. That's the first splice. Then the next one I'll cut from the centre across a couple of mil, that's a second splice, and then the last one I'll cut a couple of mil in and a couple of mil in and across, and that's 4 splices. But I'll cut one of these down the centre, and that gets you 2 of the outside bits, so that out of one piece of timber, 42 by 42 or 40 by 40, you'll get 5 splices, which is great. Now that's beautiful stripy ebony. I'm going to cut the next bit. I'll show you after I've marked it. Before I cut the splice off, I will plane the top half flat. This part will be perfectly plain flat with a long plane, and this gives you a surface to put onto the flat of the cue. This is the easiest way to do it. Plane it before you cut it, and then you're not having trouble trying to plane a thin splice. Now that's the top plane perfectly flat. Now I'll mark it for the splice. Now as you can see, I've marked the splice. It's roughly between 16 and 17 inches deep. It goes along at a V shape to the end, which is a couple of mil. Now I prefer an ace splice. A lot of people now are putting very thin splices on to try and save money on the timber. To be quite honest, if you're getting a piece of wood 40 by 40, you don't need to do that. It's easier to take wood off than it is to put on, and plus the fact that butt, if it's done properly, is a massive part in balancing the cue up, which a lot of the new cue makers just don't understand. Right, this is the cue all with the clamps, plenty of clamps on it, really tight. All you do is leave it to dry. Okay, that's how we do